So here's, apparently this is Israel currently striking Iran's capital, Tehran. Right here. Apparently a missile struck right around that area. You see a bunch of smoke. And then you have more explosions. More smoke. Sorry, no explosions, but the after effects.
اینجا زدن اینجا هم زدن این لویزانم زدن پشتم زدن پشت لویزانم زدن اینجا زدن
Israel spelled it wrong, but bombed Iran. John McCain is smiling somewhere on an island in the lakes of hell. We can let him rest in peace. You don't need to bring his name. Stay the fuck out of Iran and leave it to Israel? That's my box. Israel versus Iran. Bro, fuck Israel. Once we squeeze all we can out of the United States, it can dry up and blow away. Israel just launched second wave of strikes. Natanz nuclear facility, apparently. I think I fucking spelled it wrong. Right here. Within a nuclear site, Israel attacked multiple Iranian nuclear and military sites on Friday as tensions reached new heights over Tehran's rapidly advancing nuclear program. They say Friday because it's it's Friday over there, right? Just like in Japan, it's Friday in Japan right now. half the country is already on Friday, basically. Or well, they're already like half the day done with Friday. Yeah, as you can see, the shit is popping off right now. Visuals of Israeli attacks on Iran. So they're doing. It looks like a drone strike, or it could be missile strike. I can't tell because it just seems like they're just coming out from here. So there might be a drop ship of drones, maybe. I don't know if this is real. It's hard to say. Where is it? Yeah, it's hard to say if this is real. Israel tech, should we get involved? No. This is their fight. I hope we don't get fucking involved. This is not our fucking problem. I don't even know why Israel fucking started it. Because it started popping off as soon as they said, "Hey, we're gonna do this thing." And it was just like, can you not?
A certain style of life and an attitude to life and an insight.
There is going to be a dance this evening, and I would like you all to come. You know, the person who...
You are lying about the United States being involved in Israeli striking Iran? Oh, wait, are people actually saying that? Why? Tonight, Israeli took unilateral action against Iran. Yeah, people think that we have something with Netanyahu. No, Netanyahu did this himself. He did not. It was just this. It was like fucking Zelensky. Motherfucker did that shit himself. He didn't say shit. So why the fuck are you saying anything about the United States, you motherfuckers? Just trying to start shit, yeah? I should not target U.S. interests or personnel, sorry. How I keep the rent low? Motherfucking goes out, starts popping. Starts desk popping. Oh my god, is this Beer Fest? Oh, it is. Fuck it. Beer Fest was a great movie. He's got the eye of the Jew. God damn it. Fuck. Sorry, that's a rated R movie. Just because of the jokes. Also, there's heavy alcohol usage in the fucking movie. India and Israel have always said, Kisi, I don't know what the hell that means. What does this mean? We're gonna look this up. I don't know why. This phrase translates to a principle of non-aggression and standing up against injustice. Oh, okay. Oh, so it's like a slogan. So this is like a Hindi slogan or phrase or motto. Oh yeah, let's watch
For
this.
years, the Iranian regime has called for the destruction of the State of Israel, planning and advancing concrete military plans to do so. Over the past few months, intelligence has shown that Iran is closer than ever to obtaining a nuclear weapon. This morning, the IDF began
He just said it right there. That's why probably they attacked. Because they were like, oh, they're trying to get a nuclear weapon, so we attacked, basically.
preemptive and precise strikes
As a
targeting the Iranian nuclear program in order to prevent the Iranian regime's ability to build a nuclear bomb in the immediate time frame.
I wonder what that's gonna fucking do to
We
the
have
US
no
now.
choice. We are operating against an
Now
imminent
I
and
bet one of them is
existential
gonna be
threat.
like, "Hey, we want
We
some
cannot
help.
allow the Iranian regime to
Hey, can
obtain
you
a
tell
nuclear
them to
weapon
stop?"
that would be a
It's just
danger
like,
to
God
Israel
damn
and
it.
the entire world. This operation
fucking
is for our
damn
right to
it.
exist here, for our future, and for our children's future. The State of Israel has the right and the obligation to operate in order to protect its people and will continue to do so. The IDF conducted significant preparations for this operation. We are well prepared both in defense and offense to defend ourselves. The IDF will continue to defend the State of Israel.
I guess we're just gonna burn it down to the ground. Yes. So we're just gonna burn everything to the ground. Jesus. What is happening?
For years, the Iranian regime has called for the destruction of the State of Israel.
I mean, to be fair, the Iranians have said that in the past a lot. A couple times.
Planning and advancing concrete military plans to do so. Over the past few months, intelligence has shown that Iran is closer than ever to obtaining a nuclear weapon.
Until
This morning,
them
the
terrorist
IDF began
bastards start
preemptive
coming
and
over,
precise
then
strikes
it's gonna be
targeting
a
the
problem.
Iranian
Well, I
nuclear
mean, some of
program
them
in
terrorist
order to
bastards are
prevent
already
the
inside,
Iranian
so
regime's
it's already
ability
kind of
to
a
build a
problem.
nuclear bomb in
Well, I mean, it's not even fucking terrorist bastard. It's more like goddamn cartel motherfuckers, crazy drug addicts and crack addicts, fucking gangs and shit. It's a goddamn civil war out there. Neither should Israel. Israel attack India. Why would they do that? Trump signs EV deregulation. Israel attacks Iran. And oil prices go up. Trump got Iran into war to keep the busy. Trump did not get. All of the countries have been well, I mean, most of the countries have been trying to stop Iran from doing any nuclear stuff. But, you know, I don't know. Oh. New stuff. Israel attacks has made a dusty volcano out of nuclear sites in Iran. Iran's retaliation could be massive. Aerospace to cross red lines in response to Israel. Missile. Oh, missile. Yeah, apparently these are some of the Iranian leaders that fucking got. They are now deceased, apparently.
نزدیک پادگان قلمرویه. پادگان قلمرویه اینجا. نزدیک پادگان قلمرویه.
اینجا رو زدن، اینجا رو هم زدن، این لویزانم زدن، پشتم زدن، پشت لویزانم زدن، اینجا رو زدن، اینجا رو هم زدن، این
Airstrike on Iran. Oh, is this him oh shit, here we go.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation
Rising
to
Lion.
roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9.
Oh yeah, there you go.
In recent
This
months,
that's why they
Iran
went
has
to
taken
war.
steps
That's why they're
that it has
attacking.
never taken before.
They're
Steps to
attacking because
weaponize
they think
this
they have
enriched
enough nuclear
If
power
not
to
stopped,
make something.
Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear Holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000 of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey. This is an intolerable threat. It too must be stopped. Iran is now working on what it calls the new plan to destroy Israel. You see, the old plan failed. Iran and its proxies tried to encircle Israel with a ring of fire and to attack us with the horrible attack of October 7th. But the people of Israel, the soldiers of Israel, rose like lions to defend our country. We crushed Hamas.
Yeah, I think ever
Hezbollah,
since that shit
hit
that
Iranian
happened
proxies in
October
Syria and
7th,
Yemen.
yeah, they
And
don't
when
want
Iran
to take any
directly
more
attacked us
chances.
twice last year, we struck back
they're
inside Iran
they're
itself.
more on the
And
offensive
in
now.
defending ourselves, we also defend others. We defend our Arab neighbors. They too have suffered from Iran's campaign of chaos and carnage. Our actions against Iran's proxy Hezbollah led to the establishment of a new government in Lebanon and the collapse of Assad's murderous
Yeah, when
regime
he started
in Syria.
striking, right?
peoples of those
when he
two
started
countries
striking
now have a
Lebanon
chance
and
for a
right, all
different
those
future,
other
a better
countries,
future.
because he was hitting
So
right
too do the brave people of Iran.
terrorist leaders.
And I have a message for them.
Yeah, he did that on
Our
his
fight
own.
is not with you.
He didn't
Our
tell
fight
the
is with
U.S.
the brutal
anything. He did
dictatorship
that all
that
on
has
his own.
oppressed you for 46 years. I believe that the day of your liberation is near. And when that happens, the great friendship between our two ancient peoples will flourish once again. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America. Remember, Iran calls Israel the small Satan. It calls America the great Satan. And this is why for decades it's led millions in the chants of death to Israel and death to America. Today, Israel is responding to those genocidal calls with action and with
I
a
mean,
call
I
of
just
our
feel
own.
like they're lumping us
Long
in
live
because
Israel,
we at some
and
point
long
helped
live
them
America.
with, like, I don't know,
Our
some kind
action
of
will
aid
help
or
make the
something.
world a
So
much
that's why they're
safer
all like,
place.
oh yeah, death to the
I want to
Americans.
thank President
Oh,
Trump
yes.
for his leadership in confronting
Allah
Iran's
Akbar.
nuclear weapons.
God damn it, sorry.
He has made clear time and again that Iran cannot have a nuclear
Alex
enrichment
Obama.
program. Today, it is clear that Iran is just buying for time. It refuses to agree to this basic requirement of peaceful nations. That is why we have no choice but to act, and act now. The hardest decision any leader has to make is to thwart a danger before it is fully materialized. Nearly a century ago, facing the Nazis, a generation of leaders failed to act in time. They were paralyzed by the horrors of World War I. They were determined to avoid war at all costs, and they got the worst war ever. They adopted a policy of appeasement. They closed their eyes and ears to all the warning signs. That failure to act resulted in World War II, the deadliest war in history. It claimed the lives of 60 million, including 6 million Jews, a third of my people.
About a little bit of history
After
now.
that war, the Jewish people and the Jewish state vowed, never again. Well, never again is now. Today, Israel has shown that we have learned the lessons of history. When enemies vow to destroy you, believe them. When enemies build weapons of mass death, stop them. As the Bible teaches us, when someone comes to kill you, rise and act first. This is exactly what Israel has done today. We have risen like lions to defend ourselves. Over 3,000 years ago, Moses gave the people of Israel a message that has steeled their resolve ever since. Be strong and courageous, he said. Today, our strong and courageous soldiers and people stand together to defend ourselves against those who seek our destruction. And by defending ourselves, we defend many others, and we roll back a murderous tyranny. Generations from now, history will record that our generation stood its ground, acted in time, and secured our common future. May God bless Israel. May God bless the forces of civilization everywhere. Thank you.
There you have it. That's all she wrote. You heard him. Doing it because of nukes. They're doing it because they don't want them to build a nuke. That's all it is. Massive fires at missile sites in Kermanshah.
این زاقامامات رو زدن زاقامامات کرمانشاه این زاقام
Oof. Look at that fucking mushroom. That fucking smokestack, yo. Not looking too good. Oh my god, stop. Well, we'll take a look at the fucking the India. What? Where was it? India? Was it? Oh no. What happened? Protests are still going on. Oh, I don't think I. Oh, did I change my title? Oh, okay, I did. I was all like, I don't think I changed my title. I mean, I guess I could change it to, like, we're looking over, I don't know. Not a lot of people like talking about this stuff. Yeah, because, okay, so, yeah, Israel attacked Palestine. Well, he didn't really. Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, and now Iran. So basically, all of these countries literally have terrorist organizations in them, and they attack a bunch of people. And I bet they all help each other too. Alright, let's deal with... This is an attack against the Islamic regime, not Iranian people. Iranians stand with Israel against the Islamic regime. Who's this Dr. Malouf? I don't know who this person is. Or are they looking at... Are those drones? Yeah, they're just shit hovering in the air. Or, oh, are those missiles flying? Oh, those might be missiles flying. Oh, explosions. Yep. What's going on? A president who ignores the Middle East. Well, I mean, that's not our problem. Why does everybody think we should make the Middle East our fucking problem? Like, what the fuck? We're not we have barely anything over there. You want us to put fucking boots on the ground? Are you fucking crazy? You saw what happened to Afghanistan. Shit. Fuck. We got fucking pushed out. Oh yeah, isn't there supposed to be something big starting Friday? And then there's supposed to be, fucking Juneteenth is supposed to pop off too. Israeli bombs Iran. Preemptive strike. No, there's not much there. What do we got? Workers are... Oh, they were tagging on the fucking thing. cleaning up some of the tagging. Was it fucking what's her dumb bitch's name? Fucking Karen Bass like out there today or some shit trying to get like some kind of fucking some kind of video for herself where she's like out there cleaning the paint or some shit off the fucking thing. Oh, fucking dumb bitch. As you told Trump, oh no, don't bring in the National Guard. You're gonna make it too dangerous. Fucking stupid. Oh no. We're flying Palestine. That dude just got fucking towed. That dude got a bunch of Palestine paraphernalia. Got fucking towed. There's a bunch of cops now. There looks to be like nothing going on over here right now. Oh yeah, agenda-free TV's on. What is he saying? Because I think he is. He's covering the thing. Yeah, I was checking it out earlier when it started. Let me check if there's more. Oh, Axon.
What's this?
AXN News is back on it again. Right now he's looking at people getting fucking bust.
Posted a video of some sort of
Suffer.
smoke on the Vermont shot.
Suffer.
Where's that? I saw a video of Vermont State of smoke. Something's western.
Boom. Yeah, you don't want to get fucked up by those bison. Have you seen those people that get too close to animals and they get fucking gored? Yeah, don't get too close to this stuff. They're on the back of the bus, fucking saying their bullshit.
Israel. News update.
As they're getting bust.
Khan News Israel reports that Israel has hit at least 10 nuclear scientists. Also, Israeli officials say we are only at the beginning. This is an ongoing event.
Oh, they're hitting scientists. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, they're hitting scientists. Uh-oh, I'm a target.
Where is that report here? Again, that is a report from Khan News, Israel. They say Israel has hit at least 10 Iranian nuclear scientists, and Israeli officials say we are only at the beginning. This is an ongoing event.
All right. We'll check back in on some of this stuff later. But what's going on? Let's take a look at the airline stuff, cause yeah, this stuff is insane. The Air India flight 171.
So I will watch it play through, and then I will give my description. So it's a shot from a apartment nearby. Ah, man, that's just brutal. Hate seeing that. Hey everybody, welcome to the video. It's Ryan on the Max Afterburner channel. I'm a former F-15E combat fighter pilot, F-16 Thunderbird pilot, Boeing 737 pilot, Airbus A220 pilot. I've flown airliners for many years, and so I wanted to give my take on the Air India Flight 171 crash. First of all, I want to say just love and support and prayers to the family members of those affected. I've got the lights in the background changed to yellow. Yellow is a signal and sign of support. And so I'm sending that to those that lost loved ones, the passengers, the flight crew, and anyone on the ground who's lost their life. They're saying about 242 people on board the aircraft have perished, and likely people on the ground as well. So my number one objective for this video is to show support, love, and prayers to all those affected. And then secondly, I want to reassure the flying public that flying is safe. And I'll give my description and breakdown of what I think happened to this
because
Boeing
there's been a lot of people online being like,
oh, very safe aircraft, 14 years of stellar safety records on this thing. But this video at the end, I will give my full debrief and breakdown of what I think happened, but there will be a full investigation. So definitely check that out. Remember, I'm just a pilot on YouTube. So let's watch the video. Here we go. So I will watch it play through, and then I will give my description. So it's a shot from a apartment nearby. Ah, man, that's just brutal.
Oof.
Hate seeing that. Okay, let's rewind to the beginning of the video. So I want you to take a peek right here. So on the Boeing 787, the wings kind of flex and bend up. They come from underneath the fuselage and they flex up. It's a hyper efficient wing, and it's very skinny in this picture, which is not what I would want to be seeing right here. Just after takeoff, what's going to happen is there's going to be a pilot flying and a pilot monitoring. So the pilot flying is going to initiate the rotation. In this case, on the Boeing 787, it's a yoke. So they're going to pull back on the yoke, and then the pilot monitoring is going to say positive rate. Once you have a positive VVI, that's your vertical velocity indicator showing that you are climbing away from the runway. Then the pilot flying is going to say gear up. The pilot monitoring is going to reach over and put the gear up, but they're not going to touch the flaps. We're going to leave the flaps where they're at until you accelerate to certain speeds that are dictated by the aircraft that are safe to fly without flaps. Flaps are extremely necessary to fly at low airspeeds in heavy aircraft like this, and it changes the entire shape of the wing so that you can fly at slower airspeeds and still remain airborne. So you have to get faster before you start to retract those flaps. And there are certain settings that you retract the flaps at, and you go slowly. You do it in a synchronized manner where you go one flap setting up, get faster, one flap setting up, and get faster. So it's very odd to me to see all the flaps up, because if you're doing some sort of a crash landing type situation, you know you're going to come in and have to glide into a landing. You're going to put the flaps down because you're going to get slower. You're not going to want to stall the aircraft, so you're going to put the flaps down. But in this case, the gear should likely be up, because you just took off. I'll give a full description of the map after this. I'll show you the airport diagram, so stay for that. And then I'll give you my official debrief here at the end as well. But we'll step through some possible causes for this situation, and maybe not just what I think, but what is a buzz right now on the internet. So as you can see there, very skinny wing. So extremely skinny wing here. If the flaps were down, you would probably not be able to see the engines at all, because those flaps are so massive on the back end of the 787. So it really looks to me like no flaps are down. And then here at the end, the AOA, which is the angle of attack, that looks to me, and the elevator is pitched down slightly. So the elevator is trying to dig in to give lift to get up. The pilots are probably thinking, why are we descending? What's happening here? And so they're pulling back on the yoke, and the aircraft's wing is looking like it's getting more of an angle to it. That's the angle of attack. Also, I want you to look here and see that the aircraft is in level flight. So if there was some sort of thrust disruption with one of the engines, there's likely going to be some yaw. There's likely going to be a little bit of a look to the aircraft like it's pitching or it's yawing to one side or the other. And I don't see that here. So what that says to me is likely both engines are out or both engines are working just fine. So let's continue here. And then at the end game, pilots are just going to start pulling back because you really have no other options. You know, you got to do what you got to do there at that point. Tragic ending for that. I want to take you now to this map of the crash site.
On impact.
So here we are. This is going to be
also there was a bunch of fuel
runway
and shit.
23.
Right? That's what blew up too.
787 took off on it. I'll give you a full description of that with the airport
plane.
diagram in a second. This is the crash site here. This red balloon, unfortunately, near a heavily populated area. But I want you to look and I want you to see how it's a basic straight line off the end of the runway. So again, if there was an engine out situation, like a bird strike on one of the engines or something like that, likely there would be yaw and the crash site would be to the side. But this is basically a direct line from runway 23 all the way down to the crash site. Okay, now let's take a look at Ahmedabad Airport. Here we are. VAAH is the identifier. I want to show you guys the runway, the length, and the likely taxi route of flight 171. So it's an 11,500 foot runway. So I'll draw a line here from the international terminal. I'll just use green. And so from the international terminal, likely going to go from Golf, then Papa, and then Romeo 4, and then back taxi on runway 23 since there's no taxiways that parallel runway 23. And then at the end, they've got this spot lined up perfectly for a 180. And that would be a normal typical way that an airliner would set up. So taking off midfield, that's some of the rumors that I've seen online, doesn't make sense to me just because of this taxiway layout. And then here's the takeoff roll. Fully loaded Boeing 787, you're looking at somewhere between 9,200 and 9,800 feet. So the point of takeoff is going to happen somewhere about here. So there's going to be thousands of feet of runway left over, likely. And then
there's a reason why they have extra runway.
You get that positive VVI. You are going to then put the gear up. So a quarter mile off the end of the runway, your gear going to be fully up. Your flaps are going to be down still though. And then you're going to start slowly retracting those flaps. Okay, so now let's get into the potential for what happened. So on June 12th, 2025, this devastating event, it did claim 242 lives, as we discussed before. It's the first fatal crash of a Boeing 787. And in this video, I'm going to dive even more into what potentially happened, how we can prevent this from happening in the future. And then I will also share why air travel remains one of the safest ways to get around, and I'll tell you why. So Air India Flight 171 was scheduled from Ahmedabad's Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport to London Gatwick. The aircraft is a Boeing 787-8, a Dreamliner, and it's registered as VT-ANB. It took off at 1:38 p.m. local time, and then just seconds later, it reached a maximum altitude of only 625 feet before crashing into the Meghani Nagar residential area. It hit a doctor's hostel and caused a massive fireball. The flight crew did issue a mayday call, but communication was lost soon after, obviously due to that fireball. And then tragically, local police reported no survivors from the plane, likely casualties on the ground as well. The crash site showed the aircraft's tail protruding from a building with thick black smoke billowing into the sky. So this was the first fatal crash of a Boeing 787 in the 787's 14-year history. It's a jet known for its stellar safety record. So the investigation will be led by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. It's ongoing. We don't have a definitive answer yet, but several theories have emerged, and I'll give those theories and then stay to the end of the video because I will give my theories as a professional pilot. So one leading speculation is possible dual engine failure or significant thrust loss in the plane's General Electric GE9X engines. Eyewitnesses and video evidence suggest the landing gear remained extended, which we saw in that video at the beginning, and that could point to a hydraulic system failure tied to engine performance, as the 787's hydraulic systems rely on engine-driven pumps. Some unconfirmed reports also suggest the pilots mentioned engine failures in their mayday call, not confirmed yet. That'll probably be coming out here very soon. Another theory posted on X suggests a takeoff performance miscalculation where the plane may have started its takeoff run from the middle of the runway, and we talked about why that's likely not the case. But that would reduce the available length to gain speed and altitude if an aircraft did that.
We need to. There's no. They still need to get the flight
recently
records.
Undergone refurbishing due to recent reports, and that raises questions about potential engineering issues introducing during maintenance work. So not confirmed, but anytime a jet comes out of a depot, yeah, you want to ask the question, hey, what was the maintenance work that was done? Past Boeing 787 incidents like the lithium-ion battery fires in 2013 or quality control issues with fuselage joins have also fueled speculations about manufacturing or maintenance flaws, though these are not confirmed in this case. So I would ease your mind on this. I personally don't believe this had anything to do with it as far as the maintenance issues or any of the past quality control issues. So what could cause a jet like a modern 787 to lose thrust in both engines? Dual engine failure is extremely rare, but it's not impossible. So one possibility is fuel contamination or starvation, where the engines didn't receive enough fuel due to a blockage or a supply issue. Another could be a bird strike, though Ahmedabad's weather was clear and no such reports surfaced. Mechanical failures could also be an issue, like fan blade damage or compressor stalls could also play a role. Past GENX engine issues, like a 2016 FAA directive about fan ice imbalances, highlighted potential vulnerabilities, but obviously in this case, it was very warm. It was roughly 30 degrees Celsius, so ice not going to be an issue. A more systemic issue could involve the aircraft's electronic system. So the 787 does rely heavily on integrated avionics. If a fault disrupted engine control, it could lead to thrust loss, but again, this hasn't happened at all in the past. And then lastly, maintenance errors during the recent refurbishment could have introduced issues such as improper wiring or hydraulic system faults, though this is purely speculative until the black box data is analyzed. And if there were any system faults like that, the pilots would have seen those and taken care of those prior to takeoff. It's something that we do every day as airline pilots. You step to a jet and there's some issue with it that you have to get checked out. You call maintenance on board, you do certain checks. There's multiple points of contact from maintenance personnel, from the pilots to make sure that jets don't take off with any system anomalies. So I would be very shocked if this jet took off with any type of anomaly like that. So when it comes to bird strikes, US Airways Flight 1549 did have bird strikes in both engines. So it can happen. Dual engine bird strikes can happen. However, even in the case of Sully, when they were coming in to land on the Hudson, they put their flaps down. And even in the ditching checklist, when it comes to landing, they tell us as airline pilots to put the flaps down to full. Again, that gives you the ability to land at the slowest airspeed. And if you're going to crash land, you want to be going as slow as possible. And then in 1995, an E-3B Century, an AWACS aircraft, did crash at Elmendorf due to ingestion of geese into both engines. Obviously extremely rare, but this aircraft crash landed as well on the departure end of the runway in a similar looking type situation. But if I was a betting man, I would say that even in this case, they kept some of their flaps down to try to maintain that slower flying airspeed. Let's talk quickly about just the 787 in general. The
once something gets lodged in your engine,
love this thing. It launched in 2011 with over 1,100 in service worldwide now. It's a long-haul wide-body jet with a range of 13,530 kilometers. It's built with 50% composite material. Again, hyper efficient. It's got carbon fiber reinforced polymers, making it lighter and about 20% more fuel efficient than older Boeing models like the Boeing 767. It's powered by either the General Electric GE-NX or the Rolls-Royce Trent 1000 engines. These engines are beasts for sure. These engines use advanced technology like ceramic matrix composites for better heat resistance and efficiency. The Boeing 787 features a fly-by-wire control system replacing traditional mechanical systems with electronic signals for smoother handling. It has a high bypass engine design that reduces noise by up to 60% compared to older jets. Its cabin is also pressurized to lower altitudes of 6,000 feet instead of 8,000 feet. That improves passenger comfort by reducing fatigue. And the jet's larger windows can dim electronically. It's got advanced avionics integrated with real-time weather data and satellite communication for safer navigation. And despite its strong safety record, the 787 has faced some challenges. It included a lithium-ion battery fire issue in 2013 that grounded the fleet, and quality control issues in 2021 that halted deliveries. A 2024 whistleblower did raise concerns about improper fuselage fastening, though Boeing dismissed these as not immediate safety risks and investigations were done. Modern jets like the 787 do rely on redundant systems like dual computers, backup hydraulics, and multiple power sources to ensure safety, even if one of those fails. I would feel comfortable flying a Boeing 787. I've just heard great things about them. But this crash basically is a stark reminder that even cutting-edge aircraft aren't immune to failure, and pilots are a part of that chain. So to prevent future tragedies, the aviation industry must focus on rigorous maintenance protocols. Even if that wasn't an issue in this case, it's just a good reminder to go back to the basics, especially for recently refurbished aircraft. Again, there's nothing saying that was the case of this accident. It's just a reminder for everyone to go back to the basics. And then enhanced pilot training for low altitude regimes of flight and what to do at the low altitude regime of flight, because that's likely where a lot of incidents can happen, especially if you throw in some type of emergency. So looking at dual engine failure scenarios, that's crucial. Boeing and GE Aerospace are already supporting the investigation, and the black box data will be key to identifying those specific failures. And then investigation into real-time flight data monitoring and predictive maintenance technologies could also catch issues before they even escalate. And then despite this tragedy, air travel remains incredibly safe. Statistically, the odds of dying in a plane crash are less than 1 in 11 million. The 787 has flown nearly 5 million flights with over 30 million hours without a fatal crash until now. Modern aircraft are built with redundant systems, and global aviation safety standards are stricter than ever. Incidents like this are rare, and each one leads to improvements that make flying even safer. So while we mourn this loss, we can all feel confident stepping into a plane. So now you made it to the end of the video. I'll give you my opinion as a professional pilot. So it looks to me, if there was no thrust issues, so let's say the engines were working fine, I can't tell exactly. I don't see a lot of heat signature coming out of those motors.
So, yeah, there you have it. If you want to look at his, basically the rest of his analysis, right, what he thinks the, what could have prevented this. But, yeah, it's, 15.46. There you go. Yeah, it's super unfortunate. Super unfortunate. So many people fucking were on that plane, too. Right here. Oh yeah, please give him right to subscribe and a follow.
It's a big country,
or
strong country.
thumbs up.
They'll handle it, I'm sure. But I let them know that anything we can do, we'll be over there immediately. But it was a horrific crash. It looks like most
Even
are
Trump
gone.
talked
They
about
actually
it.
maybe have a couple survivors, which is just heard. But that was a horrible crash. Nobody has any idea what it might be. I gave him a couple of pointers. I said, maybe you'll look at this or that. You know, we saw the plane. It looked like it was flying pretty well. It didn't look like there was an explosion. It just looked like the engines maybe lost power. But boy, that is a terrible crash. It's one of the worst in aviation history. Yeah, second.
Horrible there. NBC's international correspondent Matt Bodner is live at Gatwick Airport. Also with us, Les Abend, a retired Boeing pilot for American Airlines with decades of experience flying. Matt, I'll start with you. What are we now learning about this crash and the news that one person has apparently survived?
Thank you, Anna. Well, let's start with the survivor. Really an incredibly positive development in this tragic story today. His name is Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, as we understand. That's the name being circulated around the Indian media. We've cross-referenced that. He is on the passenger manifest, and our international partners at Sky News have spoken to his family and confirmed that he is the survivor from the plane that we know of at this time. Unfortunately, they say that the family was unable to make contact with another family member who they believe was traveling with him on that plane. Now, the Hindustan Times is quoting a man by the same name who says he was on the flight, who they have evidence of his ticket, and he's saying, quote, 30 seconds after takeoff, there was a loud noise and then the plane crashed. It all happened so quickly. The newspaper also says that he's being treated now for impact injuries on his chest,
when he said loud noise,
eyes,
that
and feet.
usually means something
Back
with
to the investigation,
engine.
we're still waiting to hear
inside the plane.
anything from official authorities, from official investigators on what they think might have happened here. Obviously, we're so early in this story. These types of investigations can take quite some time. That said, aviation experts that we've been speaking to, that we've seen speaking elsewhere, are kind of looking at least one video of the plane crash in which you can see it's sort of sagging. One expert said to us, not flying correctly, leading to speculation that the flaps may not have been fully deployed. That said, I have to emphasize we don't have any official information, and we still don't yet know where the investigation is going.
There you have it.
All right, we continue to follow breaking news out of India. A devastating plane crash, 242 people on board. That plane was bound for London and it crashed shortly after takeoff today. According to the police commissioner in India, it appears there are no survivors. Here's a look at the tail of the plane coming out of an apartment building nearby. Now, some locals in the area where it crashed, they have died as well. This is just a disaster area. Authorities currently working to ascertain the number
into some
of
buildings,
deaths in this crash. Officials say the Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner went down in this neighborhood near a medical school complex right by the airport. And as you saw there, it crashed into a building. Air traffic control at the airport received a Mayday call, signaling an emergency there, but there was no other response from the aircraft. Boeing has released a statement this morning writing, "We are aware of initial reports and we're working to gather more information." India's Prime Minister says it's heartbreaking beyond words. No information has yet been released concerning the number of fatalities or injuries, but the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, that plane, it has a stellar reputation. This was the first crash in the plane's history. NBC News is reporting that 100 bodies have been taken to a nearby hospital so far. So this is definitely a devastating crash.
An Air India flight with 242 people on board has crashed in western India. The plane, which is a Boeing 787, was on its way to London. Right now, there are no confirmed deaths, but India's federal health minister is saying, quote, many people were killed. We'll keep tracking this story and bring you any updates on air and online over at weareiowa.com.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are talking about it. And then we have some stuff about Trump signed some resolution to reverse California emission standards.
Today, President Trump is signing 3 congressional resolutions targeting California's electric vehicle mandate. Those emission standards would have banned the sale of gas-powered cars by the year 2035. KTLA's Trevor Shirley is live in Washington,
Yeah,
D.C.
basically
with
he's
more.
trying
Trevor,
to
good
stop
morning.
that.
Eric, good morning to you as well. This is just the latest instance in an increasingly antagonistic relationship between President Donald Trump, the state of California, and its governor, Democrat Gavin Newsom. That signing ceremony is happening right now over at the White House. The resolution President Trump is signing, they're all approved by Congress last month. Overall, they aim to quash the country's most aggressive attempts to phase out gas-powered cars. President Trump is also planning to approve measures to overturn California's policies that curb tailpipe emissions and smog-forming nitrogen oxide pollution from trucks. Now, these signings come as President Trump has pledged to revive American auto manufacturing and boost oil and gas drilling here in the U.S. California Governor Gavin Newsom and California environmental officials, though, say what the federal government is doing is illegal and that the state does plan to sue. Today's signings are the latest instance of President Trump targeting California after deploying military troops there last week to deal with protests over ICE deportations.
They said it couldn't be done, but boy, it's had us tied up in knots for years. And they'd pass these crazy rules in California, and would be 17 states would go by.
Also, I think
didn't know what to do because
this is just changing what's in California.
17 states, you're building cars for 2 countries. The one good thing with this, number one, it holds up forever, and number two, unless somebody votes it out, they'll never do that. And it's just so much better, huh?
Now, the governor's already said that the state does plan to sue over these signings. We're expecting to hear from California's Attorney General at some point later
what did
today.
they say that Trump has like over 200 pending cases because they keep fucking filing? Yeah.
This
we had
is
some more.
the Majority Whip, Mr. Emmer from Minnesota.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Welcome back to Washington, Governor. I'm going to run through a series of facts before I get to my questions, so let's get started. Governor Walz, you signed the Health and Human Services Omnibus Bill into law in May of 2023. That bill expanded Minnesota Care to provide free health care to illegal aliens. You signed the Higher Education Omnibus Bill into law in May of 2023. That bill allows illegals to have their college tuition paid for by the state. You signed the Driver's License for All Act into law in March of 2023, and that bill allows illegals to receive driver's licenses. So, you claim you're not a sanctuary state. You just provide free health care, free college, and driver's licenses to illegal aliens. One reason you're here testifying
Hey,
before us today
Asmongold,
is
here's
because
a
you
universal
refuse to
basic
cooperate
income.
with ICE. While states like Florida and Virginia empower their law enforcement
not going to
detain
the
and
right
remove
people.
criminal, illegal
There
aliens,
you have it.
you,
Have fun.
sir, have done just the opposite. Your Attorney General is directing law enforcement to ignore ICE immigration detainers. Do you agree with the Attorney General's guidance?
Well, Congressman, it's good to
It's
see
your
you again,
favorite
and thanks for
person,
being
Tim
here.
Walz,
First, I would say as my
right?
job as governor of Minnesota
everybody
is to make
who
Minnesota the best state in
spouts
the nation.
universal basic
Attorney
income,
General's guidance?
you are suspicious.
Congressman, what I would say on this is that Minnesota follows all law. I
Sir,
would say
it's a very easy question. And
the
again, if you claim you're not
The reason why I
a
say that
sanctuary
is because
state,
humans are too
I
fucked
guess,
up in the head
you just
to
claim
even,
that you support
to
policies.
even
You're
play
not a
at
sanctuary state,
universal
but you
basic
support
income.
policies that prevent ICE from
Humans
doing
are so
their job.
fucking greedy.
Congressman,
Yeah,
that right?
fucking
that
right.
is incorrect, Congressman. We follow the same laws when you were in the Minnesota
sir,
House. The law
sir,
has not changed,
if
sir.
you'll allow me, I've got limited time. Well, that's what you tweeted, by the way, sir. And on May 23rd, 2018, you tweeted, quote, I support policies that
goes
keep
to
law
all the
enforcement
fucking
from
socialists
enforcing
out there,
federal
too.
laws, close quote.
You're gonna
On
get
May
fucking
17th,
hung on a
just
pike,
this
dude.
spring at the University of Minnesota Law School's commencement ceremony, you said, quote, Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. When you said the words modern-day Gestapo, you were referring to ICE agents. Gestapo, by the way, sir, was the official secret police of Hitler's Nazi Germany. So you're calling ICE agents modern-day Nazis. Given the attacks on ICE agents that took place in Los Angeles over the weekend, don't you regard your dangerous inflammatory rhetoric as a problem?
The questions you want me to answer first?
So, sir, it saddens me that you refuse to express regret from comparing ICE to Nazis. ICE agents are brave Americans who get up every morning, leave their families, and put their lives in harm's way to protect our country, sir. You, at the very least, owe an apology to these dedicated public servants. I will say, sir, inflammatory rhetoric such as yours and the other governors on this panel is responsible for putting a target on the back of every ICE agent who is risking their life to protect our communities. Minnesota is all too familiar, by the way, with the chaos that ensues when you refuse to work with law enforcement to enforce the law. In May 2020, looting,
I mean,
acts
like
of
I said,
violence, and
Democrats
arson
just want you to
occurred on your
fucking
watch
just
in Minneapolis
literally
after you
just be a
refused to
punching
bring in the
bag,
National Guard.
or become
Governor, your agenda is clear.
a
Free
fucking
healthcare, free college and
a
driver's
crash
licenses
course
for
dummy
illegals while
for these
handcuffing law
fuckheads.
enforcement when they're trying to protect our
And
citizens
then while
their
you're
communities.
stabbed,
If you think
shot
that's
up,
not a sanctuary
wounded,
state,
they'll still
you
spit on you.
shouldn't be governor. By turning Minnesota into a magnet for illegals, you have opened up our communities to dangerous criminals, including known terrorists, gang members, murderers, and child predators. You have sent a resounding message that if you're a hardworking, law-abiding citizen of Minnesota, your safety and well-being are not the priorities of Tim Walz and his administration. But if you're coming to our state illegally, you're not only welcome with open arms, you're entitled to free stuff on the taxpayer's dime. This
with all the
is absolutely
BLM
disgraceful.
riots and shit.
Governor Walz,
Antifa
your sanctuary
riots.
state agenda has been defined by your utter failure. You have failed to enforce the rule of law. You have failed to uphold our national sovereignty. And most importantly, you have failed the people of Minnesota. The time for radical sanctuary state policy, sir, is over. The voters made that clear last November when they elected President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. You remember him, don't you? Governor, the time for real leaders and real leadership is now. And with that, sir, actually, Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to introduce into the record the governor's tweet that I referenced from May 23rd, 2018, which makes it clear his hatred for federal law enforcement. Thank you.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Chair recognizes Mr. Mfume.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I have a unanimous consent request, and I'd like to present both of those to you at the same time.
Proceed.
Okay. I ask unanimous consent that we enter into the record an article from The Hill of...
there you have it. Tim Walz chewed out. Let's take a look at Hochul getting chewed out too. Why not? They were a lot of these people are getting chewed out on the stand here.
Thank you. Governor Hochul, on your first day in office, you signed executive
Executive Order 1. Is that correct?
I believe it is.
And you extended this executive order not once, not twice, but 3 times, most recently January 16th this year. Is that correct?
If that's what your facts show, I signed countless executive orders.
I would
and
assume you'd
policies
know
and
it's
laws.
Executive Order 1. And this is a continuation of your predecessor's sanctuary
I've signed
state
many
policies, correct?
executive
Is
orders.
included
What do you
in
mean?
that.
You said, so
I
you're
wanna
not,
be
you
sure
don't
we are
know which
defining
executive
sanctuary
orders?
state
Oh.
I'll
properly.
define it for you. It is the policy of the state that state officers or employees shall not disclose information to federal immigration authorities for the purpose of federal civil immigration enforcement. It goes on to say, law enforcement officers may not use resources, equipment, or personnel for the purpose of detecting and apprehending any individual suspected or wanted for violating a civil immigration office. Law enforcement officers have no
don't help
authority
federal
in the state of New York
immigration. Basically,
to take any
break the
policy
rules
action
and
solely because the person is an undocumented
don't
alien.
enforce
That's
the
a
law,
quote in your
essentially.
executive orders that you extended. Now, do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to get back to the first part
No,
of
I'm
your
asking a question. Do you know who
Well,
Sakir Akan is?
I want to make sure you understand that this simply says that we will cooperate with ICE.
No,
in
it does
all-
not say that. I read what it
We will
says, and let me talk to you about the results. Do you know who Sakir Akan is? You should, as the governor of New York State. Do you know?
Refresh my recollection.
He was an illegal migrant in New York. And do you know what crime he committed in addition to being here illegally?
No, I do not.
You do not. This was widely reported. He found a 15-year-old girl, threatened her with a metal pole, told her to get into the back seat of his car. He took her clothes off, and he violently raped her in Albany, New York. Do you know who Sebastian Zapita Khalil is?
I'm sure you'll tell me there's many cases, whether they're
These are
here-
high-profile cases. New Yorkers know about them, and you don't. So let's talk about Sebastian Zapita Khalil. Do you know who that is?
I don't have the specific details at my disposal, no.
Well, this is an illegal migrant in New York because of your sanctuary state policies. Do you know what crime he committed?
I'm not familiar at this moment.
I bet you're going to be familiar when I remind you. He found a sleeping woman on the subway, lit her on fire, and burned her alive.
Oh, it's that.
This is in Kathy
that
Hochul's
one.
New York.
Oh, it's
And
those
as I'm sure
cases.
you are aware, and I'll remind you,
these are
that
the
ICE
old.
issued an
These are
order
the cases
to detain
back
this violent criminal,
back
but
when
that
COVID.
was rejected by New York
Oh,
officials
these were back when
due
COVID
to
happened.
sanctuary state laws. Now, do you know who Raymond Rojas Basilio is?
I just want to say this.
Oh shit! These are
These
all the
crimes are horrific.
Oh my God! These are all the cases where
because of
And
your
I would say
sanctuary state policies.
in all of these cases, we would work with ICE to remove
You did
them.
not in this
Oh,
case.
no.
They are
They need
walking
our
on the
assistance.
streets because of your policies and your executive order that you signed 3 times. Now, Raymond Rojas Basilio, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
I'm telling you this.
Yeah, it's this case. That case where this dude just walks up to the chick and just lights her on fire for some reason. She was asleep. And then you had the incident where they attacked the police officers. Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
I'm
Like,
telling
oh,
you this.
shit.
I will
You don't know
explain to
who
you
it
the
is.
Yeah, these are-
policies of New
oh,
York.
man.
We cooperate with. I know you're just
You do
trying
not.
to.
You do not. Specifically,
Miss-
ICE was told not to detain this individual, and he burned a
These
woman
guys have-
alive.
right, some of these
on
guys
New
have
York
been
subways
constantly
in
let out,
Kathy
too.
Hochul's New York. So I will keep on going. What about Raymond Rojas Basilio? Do you know who that is?
I'm going to tell you our overall policy, which will address all this.
I'll tell
We
you
do
who
not-
that is. He is an illegal who molested an 11-year-old in our state because, again, of your sanctuary state policies. This illegal was shielded from federal immigration enforcement and able to commit this heinous crime. And what about Wilson Castillo Diaz? Do you know who that
I am
is?
telling you this. We do cooperate fully with ICE in criminal prosecution. Our sanctuary
You're not advocating for
regulations
these victims.
only deal
This
with
is a
civil
5-year-old who
enforcement.
was raped
Civil
on Long
enforcement.
Island in Nassau County. You are not advocating on behalf of these victims. You are shielding illegals. Even in your opening statement,
That is
you
not true.
prioritize putting illegals first.
That is not
Rapes
true.
of young girls, beatings of NYPD cops by illegals who are here under Kathy Hochul's failed policies, burning New Yorkers alive. This is Kathy Hochul's New York. It's one of the many reasons why you're hemorrhaging support from hardworking New
These
Yorkers.
are horrific crimes, and they're
They're
heartbreaking.
horrific crimes that are committed on your watch. You signed this executive order on your first day in office. You signed it again and again this January. We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
Rather than
the
going
chairman's-
after the viral moment, I suggest you look at the facts.
I'm standing up
The
for New Yorkers.
viral moment.
Rather than addressing the illegals
Well, I
in
mean,
New York,
you want to?
are
Well,
prioritizing your
Hochul,
far
yeah,
left
Hochul
sanctuary
has a
state
lot of
policies,
viral
which you
moments.
put in place
Should we
with
go back to
executive orders.
the one
Instead
about
of advocating
the
for
kids and
victims, a
PCs?
5-year-old
cases.
who
We
was raped,
cooperate with us.
you did not. They were released
We
because
cooperate
of
with
sanctuary
us.
state
We
policies in New
cooperate
York
with
State.
law
No
enforcement.
amount of words is going to clean up your failed record and these horrific crimes committed in sanctuary state that you created. And with that, I
Your
yield back.
representation, the facts,
Gentlelady
absolutely false.
yields back.
Absolutely
Chair
false.
recognizes Ms. Norton from Washington, D.C.
No, those happened
Thank
on
you,
your
Mr. Chairman.
watch.
Let's
Well,
be
I mean, those
real.
happened during
Since
your
the
guys.
start-
Right, I think she even tried to pin it on fucking Mayor Adams, right? All that stuff, too. So it's like, ooh. Because Hochul was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try and put Mayor Adams under the scrutiny of the court system. What is this? Exchange over immigration. Oh, so we can see your
Gentlelady yields
stance on
back. Chair, now
immigration.
recognize
basically.
Mr. Donalds from Florida.
Thank you, Chairman. To piggyback off my colleague, Governor Pritzker, how much does the state of Illinois spend on illegal immigration every year?
Again, illegal immigration, that's a federal responsibility. They could tell how much is wasted as a result of their failures.
Governor, don't you keep track of how many people are on your Medicaid rolls, how many people who are illegal immigrants in the state of Illinois who are getting actually benefits in your state? Doesn't your government keep track of that?
They don't get Medicaid in Illinois or any state, as far as I know.
Governor Pritzker, you do not keep track of any public service dollars in the state of Illinois that goes to illegal immigrants or goes to people in your state who are not legal residents of the United States and of the state of Illinois. You don't keep track of that.
We absolutely keep track of our budget, and we're very closely, and in fact, it's been balanced for 7 years in a row, unlike the Republican before me. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I noticed that in the state of Illinois, you guys don't really keep track of your money, because I asked your mayor in Chicago similar question about a month ago, and he didn't have an answer. It was quite interesting. I think this might be an Illinois problem. Governor Hochul,
Brandon
in your
Johnson.
state, you are spending about roughly $4 billion on illegal immigration. And at the same
Pritzker
time,
and Brandon
you are actually
Johnson
asking the federal government for $4 billion to finish Penn Station. Don't you think it would be better to stop funding illegal immigrants in your state and actually use those resources to finish Penn Station as opposed to coming to the federal government for the money?
Oh yeah, Hochul. Uh-oh.
Penn Station is owned by Amtrak, not by the state, so it's an appropriate use of their dollars, and Donald Trump has agreed to spend upwards of $7 billion. I appreciated that very much. What we spend on immigrants, the immigrants who are here hardworking to live a life and working on our farms and taking care of our parents in nursing homes and taking care of our children, they have been coming here for 400 years. And we don't keep track of individuals based on their status. We make sure that people have services so we don't end up with an unexpected.
So essentially what you're telling me is that you keep no track of money that is going to people who are not legal in the United States, resources that are taken away from New Yorkers, resources that are taken away from Illinoisans. You guys do not keep track of any of this.
You know what's really challenging is that many people came here with legal status. I mean, temporary protective status, 300,000.
Do you
all of a sudden they wake up one day and it's
do you go along with the strategy from the Biden administration, which massively expanded immigration protocols that overwhelmed your city and overwhelmed your state? Do you agree with that?
We call for secure borders. We call for this body to
I
do
never
its
remember
job.
you calling for secure borders at
No,
all, Governor Hochul.
We certainly have.
That
We
doesn't
certainly
sound
have.
like him to my memory.
Many conversations I had with the White House.
Yeah, no, she
We
never asked for
federal
secure
resources.
borders.
I mean, you're putting a federal problem on our laps, and you know what? It gets old after a while. I wish you would just do your job.
If your
here
party
and
actually would
pass
do the job of
meaningful
securing the nation the way President Trump has now had to do twice, we wouldn't be in this predicament. Wouldn't you agree? Do you agree or disagree that securing the nation's borders is the job of the President of the United States? President Trump has done that job twice now.
Well,
and previous Democrat presidents have not done that job. Wouldn't you agree with that?
this has been a problem that's been in place since I was a young staffer here on
Well,
Capitol Hill. We worked on
it was just
immigration, and
Biden.
Ronald Reagan signed amnesty for 3 million people.
You know,
Obama
it's interesting
was
you bring up
okay
Reagan's
with his
amnesty in 86. You know,
deportation.
part of that deal was to actually build border wall and secure it. But the Democrat Party refuses to build border wall. You oppose it every single time. Is that your position? Do you now support border walls,
There
Governor
has
Hochul?
been many times when bipartisan legislation is presented to this body, and people just walk away from it. They refuse to do the hard work of governing like governors like us have to do every single day. When I leave here, I'm going to go home and govern a state. I'm not going to tweet about this experience because I have too much work to do taking care of New Yorkers. And
you're really not doing a good job, Governor Hochul, because a lot of New Yorkers are actually coming into my state, in Florida, many of them. They come all the time because they actually want to come to a state that is well run, that protects citizens, does not allow illegal aliens to victimize citizens like they are victimized in the state of New York, like they are victimized in the state of Illinois, like they are victimized in the state of Minnesota. They choose states like Florida and Texas to find safer places to live and raise their families. Hold on, Governor Hochul. We've had enough time.
Crime rates are much
Governor
lower
Walz,
than
you've been
yours.
sitting over there pretty
Much lower.
quiet. I got a question for you.
I love to talk. Thank you, Governor.
Fair enough.
Oh, no.
You said earlier that the ICE agents under the orders
Hochul
of
wall.
President
Yeah,
Trump are
so there's a lot
modern-day
of
Gestapo. Do you
Gestapo. Oh no,
realize
he
how
got the
disgusting a
Gestapo.
phrase that is, considering the history of Nazi Germany? Would you like to recant that statement?
What I said, Congressman, and I have a long history of supporting law enforcement, I said President Trump was using them as his modern-day Gestapo, not identifying who you are, coming up in unmarked vans, taking people away.
What do you
Is it the
mean?
responsibility of ICE to actually deport
Do you
illegal
not
aliens
do that
in the United
Ukraine
States who are
did
here?
that?
Isn't that their
Like, what
responsibility?
the fuck kind of fucking
Yes, it is,
logic is
Congressman,
that?
except that the Constitution
Did you
is
see
not an
Ukraine when they were
inconvenience. It's not
trying
an
to
either-or.
Nobody
write
said
and
it.
fucking
You're
draft
You have a responsibility to deport illegal aliens, and the
Through due
president is
process.
going through that process right now.
We are
And
not
let's be very clear, the previous administration, they abused every process there is under border laws to allow more than 10 million
Yeah,
people
just
into
look
the
at
country
Russia and
illegally. And this is a
China's
burden
army.
on all
They
Americans.
got a bunch of
So the
criminals.
president is doing his job.
there.
So it is sick to refer to
You
Americans
you either
who are ICE
become
agents as
with the
Gestapo.
army or you die
Governor,
in prison.
you're wrong. You need to apologize to these agents. They're doing their jobs. They are Americans. They serve this country with honor and decency and respect. Do not diminish their work simply because you tried to make a cheap point that you could tweet. I yield back.
Chair now recognizes Ms. Stansberry from New Mexico.
It seems like, well, I mean, there's going to be Democrat senators who are going to be like, "Oh, you're doing a good job. You're doing a great job. Don't worry about
Governor Hochul,
these
on your first day in office, you signed Executive Order 1.
Right.
Is that correct?
about these bad people who don't know what they're saying."
believe it is.
And you extended
We're
this
securing
executive
the
order not
Democratic
once,
Party.
not twice, but 3 times.
We have
Most
the
recently,
votes.
January 16th of this year. Is
We
that
can
correct?
put Trump into
If that's what your
slammer.
facts show. I've signed countless executive orders.
I would assume you'd know it's Executive Order 1, and this is a
Oh,
continuation.
okay. We already
of your
saw this. I have the from the Forbes. Forbes. What's this? Oh yeah, didn't she get? Yeah.
I have questions for the secretary.
Yeah, I have questions for the secretary. Yeah, he got pushed out because he was being a little fucking crazy. Hands off!
Many of our ICE agents have been docked.
He's getting a little crazy because, and then he goes out quietly.
Senator Alex Padilla, I have questions for the secretary because the fact of the matter is, half a dozen criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
Many of our ICE agents have been docked for doing their duty. How they have been targeted.
Senator on your
Get the fuck out. Oh shit.
I have criminals that you're
doing their duty. How they have been targeted.
Hands off.
Work with law enforcement to enforce the law. In May 2020, acts of violence, arson occurred on your watch in Minneapolis after you refused to bring in the National Guard.
Oh, we already saw this. If you want to look at more, don't skip. Unfortunately, he had to censor certain words. But yeah, there you go. And what's over here? Oh, is this ice? You fucking bag. No fun is above the law. Do you favor deporting undocumented immigrants? What does it say? 66 favor, oppose.
We f***ed up.
We fucked up.
Immigrant voters were in the Democratic camp. Jump forward to 2024, 2025. Look at that shift, a 40-point shift to the right among immigrant voters. Republicans now lead on this issue by 8 points over Democrats. That's gotta hurt.
That you hit a pit dog. But it was just an ICE protester. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's unfortunate. Red states can pick your own produce now. When illegals are removed from Martha's Vineyard, Los Angeles. I incited violence. I let in the most illegals. Boys deserve tampons. Law enforcement, Democrats, illegals, yeah. Protests. 330 illegals, immigrants arrested during LA riots will be deported. Illegals gather in the one place was a solid idea. Yeah, if anything, this just brings a lot of heat to right. The fact that you guys are rioting and shit like that just.
Sure if technically what you just said was actually an apology.
They went too far. Fatal Austin Metcalf stabbing caught on surveillance tape, but Texas school district won't publicly release the video. Why? Because it looks bad. It probably looks horrible, especially for this kid. I wonder why they won't release it. Oh yeah, didn't they allow him to like to get his diploma? Didn't he graduate? Like, huh? After that shit? Wow. Holy. Okay. I guess you can graduate even if you're a murderer. That's good. God damn, I'm sorry. But it's just like, come on, dude. Like, what the fuck? The kid murdered someone.